Welcome back to the channel. Hopefully you're having a good morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching this video. So, shoutouts to the Grand Cross Reddit Discord. Very much appreciate all the work that you guys do. So this is the translated banner for Excalibur Arthur. Now, off the bat, you can see that Excalibur Arthur's percentage is 0.5%, and the rest of the units are at 0.25%. This is also a 10-step banner, so you only have to waste 242 gems if you want to get Excalibur Arthur, which is pretty good. I'm not sure if he's guaranteed. If this is like every other regular 10-step banner, then he's guaranteed at the last step, right? He is guaranteed at the last step. I don't know what this says, and I don't think there's any information regarding it as well. So yeah, it doesn't say anything about it, but that's very good. Very, very good. This banner actually isn't bad. Like, I'm not here to bash on the banner. The units themselves are not that great, but there are a few units in here that aren't the worst. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you guys. So I guess we'll just go through each and every unit, right? So Excalibur Arthur, he's not out yet as of the recording of this video, so only his skills have been, released or, shown. So we don't know what his substats are, his stats are, etc., etc. But he is good. He is good, and he is a human buffer. Now, here's the thing, right? The unit. So let's start off with Lett. So Lett isn't that great. She is good for Guild Boss, but otherwise, she's not like the craziest. I do like her skill too, that decreases crit resistance and crit defense. I think we need more units with a skill like this. But again, she's not really that crazy. Her passive is alright as well. Increases allies' crit damage by 5% per hero skill use. I'd rather this had been both crit chance and crit damage, but it is what it is, right? So she's not that great, and Guild Boss, she can be useful. Her ultimate is somewhat good as well. Removes debuffs, grants debuff immunity, and then increases defense related stats of all allies by 100%. So all in all, she's not the craziest, but she's not the worst. Like, I don't think like she's the worst unit in Grand Cross, but she definitely isn't the best, right? She's like mediocre at best in my opinion. So there you go. That's Lett. Now let's move on to Bellion. Bellion sucks. Bellion is not good at all. The reason for this is because his damage is really abysmal. For some strange reason, they gave him an AoE Shatter card, and his stats aren't that good. Like, if we just look at it, his attack is actually really decent for a unit being released at his time, 5,340%. But then we look at his pierce rate, 29.5%. And we look at his crit chance, 33%, and his crit damage is 147.5%, and then he only gets 12% in where is that? 9% extra, crit related attack stats. So it's like, bruh, like if you're gonna make him a DPS, you kind of made him the wrong way. Like, they kind of wanted to make him a DPS / support with this second skill. So that's why he's not that great, although his passive is actually not that bad. Recovers 30% of diminished HP every time a debuff is removed from him. So if you're cleansing debuffs from him, he can go up to max HP, right? If he has 4 debuffs on him and someone cleanses it off of him, he could go up to max HP, which is actually not that bad. But otherwise, he ain't that good. His ultimate is also just a pure damaging ultimate. It doesn't have any extra attack effects on it at all. So this is good against Goddess Elizabeth barriers, Merlin's ultimate barrier, Ludociel's barrier, right? It's good just to have pure attack damage, but otherwise it's not that crazy, not that good. So yeah, overall he kind of just sucks, to be honest with you. Like, his attacks don't really do much. So yeah, there's Bellion. Death Pierce is a backline unit. We already know that. He's not really anything special either. He's just meant to be on the back. So right off the bat, 3 of these units are not that good. Again, Lett being the better out of these 3 right now. She's mediocre at best. And these 2, I would give Death Pierce more credit. I'll give him more credit, right? Death Pierce is actually a decent unit on the back. So that's, I guess I could give him that, right? He does help crit related units to help them do more damage, to decrease the enemy's crit resistance and defense. So he is useful in that regard. So I'm not going to completely, bash on his, kit, But otherwise, like, you know, some of his main kit just isn't doing much, considering the fact that he also doesn't really have the best crit chance, 33% to 157.5% crit damage. It's just, even with his passive, hey, that really ain't doing much. But yeah, so all in all, right, yeah, so let's move on to Blue Elbrum, right? So Blue Elbrum, he's not really that good at all either. He has an AoE lifesteal, and he can also heal. Now, obviously, his heal is good because rank 1, it just removes debuffs. Rank 2 removes debuffs and then heals. And then rank 3 grants debuff immunity. So, same thing that Red Gloxinia has, basically, right? Now, the problem is, he doesn't have any attack power. Like, it's actually sad how much they just shafted him. He was a free unit back when, was it Lost Vein? Was it Lost Vein when he actually dropped? Or was it King? It was King. It was King. I don't know why I think it was King, right? When Festival King released, he was a free unit. You could just get him by, you know, summoning and logging in. But he's just not good. I just increases HP related stats by 5% per each surviving ally. So 10% attack or HP related stats. That's really bad. Like, that's just really bad. AoE lifesteal isn't doing much. He's not really useful for anything, to be honest with you. So he's kind of trash. Matrona. Now, if they would have allowed this to be useful in PvP, like if you could use this in PvP, she actually would probably be seen more with like Green Deanne, you know, Blue Droll, stuff like that. But since it's excluded from PvP, she does not see any play whatsoever, like at all. You might see her in Final Boss, but that's it. Legit, she's not useful for much. She has a disable attack skill, single ultimate or single attack, right? Which isn't great. She has an AoE removes buffs, which is actually pretty good. The fact that she can't really be used in PvP though kinda hurts her a lot. If she could be used in PvP, Goddess Elizabeth's barrier at, you know, when she came out would have been nothing. Like, it literally would have been nothing. So keep that in mind. She does also have this like decreased skill rank single target ultimate, but that's not really anything major either. So yeah, so she's not really all that good. So right up, like, just, you know, looking at the units we just went over, the banner really doesn't have much worth, to be completely honest. But then we get to these, like, these last few. So Zoratras, right? Zoratras is actually a very, very good option for the new level 90 demon raid, Belmos. He's actually a very good option. On JP, they changed both of his skills to physical skills. So he is buffed currently on JP. I'm sure Global will eventually change this. If they don't rip to Global, but they will change this eventually to both physical skills. But he is a very good option. So him on this banner actually isn't the worst, right? It actually isn't the worst. Keep in mind, he increases his damage dealt when he does not crit. So if he doesn't crit, his damage is increased equal to the same amount of his crit chance, which is absolutely insane considering his crit chance without cosmetics, just level 86 out of 6 base, is 72. If he does not crit and you have over 100% crit chance, he's increasing his damage dealt by a further 100%. That's very, very good. You can see why they didn't allow him on PvP at the time. I don't think that's much of a problem now. Although it could be, right? If he could be using PvP, it could be. But I don't think that's really much of a problem at the, you know, in the current meta. But he is a very good option. So him on the banner actually isn't that bad. I actually do think him on the banner isn't, you know, that bad. So then we get to Gearhart. Now, originally when she first came out, I hated everything about her. But she also isn't that bad of a unit to run with the level 90 Hell Raid. Here's why. She can cancel stances, which Belmos, right? Belmos actually is, you know, immune to ranged attacks, but this still removes the stance. So that's where she comes in clutch, because it still removes the stance. Then you get, she has a healing card, and she can fill ultimate move gauge orbs when she heals on rank 2 and 3. That is major. That is actually really good for that raid because of the fact that you should try to rush ultimate moves if you're playing with a friend, so that way you can just destroy Belmos's ultimate move gauge. And then her passive is actually not that bad either, because she does heal, or she lets the allies on her team heal HP by 1% of their max HP for every 1 orb in their gauge. So if they have max ultimate move gauges, they're healing for 5% of their max HP at the end of their turn, which is really good. Like, it might not seem like a lot, but it actually really is good. So she's actually not the worst unit, but she's pretty much only really useful for the Belmos raid and final boss trio, but that's about it. That's really it. So again, her on here is but it's not, it's not like she's not useful now. She does have a use in Belmos if you want to use her. And then we get Easton, right? So Blue Easton is still a phenomenal unit to run in the Red Hell Demon Raid. She's actually a very good support character, and I don't know why a lot of people kind of like just forget about that. She is a very, very good support character, increasing attack-related stats in guild boss. Not even just guild boss, in regular PvE. She's very good. She has a chance to, get a very good hit with her ultimate, although her crit chance does suck, I will say that. But she does increase her attack related stats, so she could crit, and this does really big damage too, so keep that in mind, right? She also increases her basic stats by 5% for each buff on allies and enemies, right? So that's very good. So all in all, you're gonna get a 25% buff to your basic stats. She has this, which isn't really that crazy. AoE fills move gauge orb, but it's not really that good. So yeah, she has that. She's a supporter. She's a very good support. So her on the banner isn't bad at all, considering the fact that she is also an OC unit, and OC units are only featured on OC unit banners. This is one of the rare occasions that an OC unit or OC units are featured on a banner, so keep that in mind. So Blue Mono isn't that crazy either, but she has her uses in final boss Escanor. She could even really be used with final boss Bond too. Like, she's really good. She removes buffs and then moves buffs and stances on rank 3. She also prevents ultimate move gauge from filling up when she uses her her second skill at rank 2 and 3. Then she makes the turn and bleed. So she's, all in all, she is pretty good for PvE content when you're trying to just do a lot of damage. But yeah, she's really good. And PvE. In PvP, she can't be used. So it's like, okay. But I'm telling you right now, if she could be used in PvP, like if they would have lowered this to like 10% or something like that, maybe even 15, she would have been crazy, because she would have removed buffs and she would have just been really good. But all in all, you could still use her for PvE content. But yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and gas her up. She's just an OC unit, which is very rare to be on a unit besides OC unit banners. And then Valenci. What more can I say? Valenci's very, very good. A top tier PvP unit, a top tier. She could even be used in PvE, really. She's just a really good unit in general, and I really, really do like Mark II Valenci. So her on this banner actually is an incentive for people who want to summon, because if you get her, then you got her, right? You don't have to wait for the OC banner to come around. You have her right now on this banner. So it's really good that she is featured on, or I guess she is featured on the banner, right? So it's a good thing that she is featured on the banner. At a 0.25% is what I'm getting at. Excalibur Arthur obviously is the 0.5% featured, but still good. Still very, very good. And Camilla isn't that good. So now that we went over all of the characters, my final consensus is it is a good banner. It is a good banner. It's not bad. It's not the best banner. It's not the absolute worst. It's just a good banner for people who want, Mark II Valenci, or don't have these OC units and want Excalibur Arthur. It's a good banner. I would still say save. I wouldn't summon on this banner, because we know the 2nd year anniversary for Grand Cross is coming up, and we don't know exactly when it'll release, but we do know that Estarossa could potentially be the festival unit for the 2nd year anniversary. So with that said, guys, hopefully this video was a little informative for you and deciding whether or not you're gonna summon, whether it come to global, you know, in the coming months, or if it, you know, drops on JP, you know what I mean. So hopefully it did help you decide on whether you're gonna summon or not. But with that said, guys, thank you so much for watching. Go ahead and leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I will see you all next time.